It's another day, another video, and in this video, prepare to possibly lose some brain cells. But I'm sure you guys are used to that by now with my videos. But before we get into the video, this video is sponsored by DIYOJ, which is a custom jersey making company who has made the shirt that I am currently wearing right now. Whether it be baseball, American football, and I mean the real football, or as they call it, soccer in the United States of America. And if you guys want to get discounts, hit the link in the description below and you'll be able to do that there. But without further ado, let us get into the video.
Older people like you guys, you can't grasp the idea.
Excuse me, I'm quite young.
All right, buddy.
I identify as 19.
See, this is the argument that people keep pulling. It's not about that.
Why
If
is
people
that
want
not
to
a
be
legitimate argument, though? Why can't I identify as a black person, but I can identify as a woman?
what? See, this is what I mean. Why is it harmful that people want to?
And here comes the brainwashing propaganda of them not being able to get out of their programming. Her whole argument, just like the majority of these people on the ABCD community and the woke community, is who is it harming? So if you have a brain, which I assume you do, use that same argument to someone who identifies as being 19 or someone who identifies as being black. According to you, as long as it's not harming anyone, they should be able to do it. But of course, they're so brainwashed and programmed that they can't even see the fallacy and the nonsense that they believe in. Also, for all the people who are watching this video, make sure you go and check out Avi M&I's channel. The link will be in the description below, with the full video linked in the description below as well. Let's get back into the video.
Identify as another gender. How does that harm you?
How does it harm you that I want to identify as 19?
It doesn't harm me.
Okay, so then why don't you accept it?
I didn't say I didn't accept it.
Do you accept that I'm 19?
If you want to say that, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't affect me.
So will you take back your statement where you said that I was an old man?
What?
I think that when you're young, you have a better understanding of who you are because you're not really influenced by other things going on around you. Like when you get older, I think that you're more influenced by...
You're telling me little kids that watch TikTok all day are not influenced by what's going on around them?
I think that little kids probably have... Well, it depends what age, right?
Are you an adult human male?
If I go dig and I'm male.
When I was younger, I actually identified more masculine. And if I could go back and I wasn't raised the way that I was, I actually probably would have wanted to change that about me.
Just because you identified as more masculine doesn't mean that you're a man. There are a lot of women who are more masculine than other women. It doesn't make them a man. It's funny how back in the day, if you were to be more masculine and to engage in more masculine things, you would just be considered a tomboy. But if you do that in today's world, they would say that you're now a man. It just goes to show you how the culture has changed, that people are believing in this nonsense. And what she said made no sense. And I also want to point out, I really appreciate the humor that Avi is bringing to this video, and it's really good to see people like this.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Yeah. You won't wish you'd done it when you were younger. What's stopping you from doing it now?
Oh, I've got a lot of other things going on right now. It's not the biggest thing going on in my life right now.
Gender is sort of like a socially constructed thing that is being deconstructed at the moment.
So if a boy likes to play with dolls, does that give him a female gender?
No, not at all.
So what gives him a female gender?
If he feels like he wants to be a woman.
What does it mean to be a woman?
It means that you identify as a woman. It means what if a man wants to identify as a woman, he's allowed to. That's what I mean. Gender, like.
So what's a woman then?
It's someone who feels like they want to be a woman.
But a woman is not just a feeling.
Why does it need to have a cookie cutter definition? That's
Okay,
not, but
because if we're going to be sterilizing kids, we should be able to define what this term even means. Yet nobody can.
Do you realize that that kind of thinking makes you what some people would call you a radical? Are you a radical?
I don't think so.
You mentioned how but then they want to have a family and they can't. First of all, not everyone wants to have a family, and there's other ways to have families. There's, surrogates, there's adoption, all that kind of stuff. It's not about whether they can physically have a child on their own. That doesn't account for all families.
What you're doing right now is trying to justify the sterilization of children.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you a question about...
Sure you are. You're downplaying it. You're saying it's not such a big deal.
Where are you from originally?
Maluku Island.
Do they have this problem in Maluku Island where people are confused about gender? No? Why not?
Because we got, our own culture. I think people in West society is too much brainwashed with all these things, It's all about money.
Who do you think's making the money with this?
whoever make the, all those implant surgery.
Do you feel at 19 you're ever going to want kids?
I don't know. It's something that I think about, but it's not something I'm wanting to make a decision on.
Yeah.
And imagine you were 10. Can you make that decision then? You can't even make it at 19.
I think I didn't give permission to film me. I don't want to be filmed.
Public street, we don't need your permission. Cool.
You literally walked up to him and took a photo without his permission.
You literally cannot make this shit up. He's complaining about being recorded while he's going up to them and taking pictures of them, while he also walked up to the camera that he doesn't want to be recorded on. Make it make sense. And once you notice, the tactic with a lot of these people is they try to disarm you at the very thing that they will also use against you. They don't want to be recorded in their stupidity, but they will engage in the actions that they say you shouldn't engage in. Once you notice that about all of these people is they'll say don't do a certain thing, and then they'll go and do that thing they say you shouldn't do.
Are you worried you're going to come off looking stupid?
No, it's not something I want to debate.
That was just very typical of the level of intelligence. Oh, he's back. It's very natural for people who didn't want to have kids to want to have them later. But now we're putting this adult decision on a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old when they're starting on these drugs. They can't possibly consent to that sort of decision. That's why my sign says children cannot consent to puberty blockers. They can't understand the ramifications of what they're signing up for.
Don't you find it funny that you said you don't want to be on film, you walked up, you took a photo without his consent, then you complained about being filmed without consent, and then you just won't leave us alone?
Being interviewed and photographed, you know?
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Okay, so you didn't have to answer. It's just being photographed without consent is the same
I
thing.
don't want to be interviewed.
And you're still here.
It doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect your life. If they want to do that, they should be able to do that.
An epidemic of child abuse sweeping the Western world is everyone's business. If I saw a child getting beat over there, I would intervene.
Would you not?
I would, but people wanting to be transgender is not people getting beaten up.
Adults cutting off their anatomy, that is probably worse than a child getting beaten up. He will recover from that.
If someone wants to cut off their anatomy because it makes them feel better in their own skin, they should be able to do that.
At 10 years old?
If your child says, I would like to use they, them pronouns.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm not
that
going to
says a
encourage
lot.
a delusion.
That says enough. I'm so sorry, but that says
we're
so
gonna go
much
now.
about
It's
who
just very
you
harmful.
are
We're gonna leave.
and how and what you're doing and the harm that you're causing. That's it.
Do you know the easiest way to get the microphone out of your face is?
You to remove it. Yeah.
I know these people's IQ is not very high, but the other thing you could do is walk away. Seeing as you voluntarily came up to the camera, voluntarily opened your mouth, and voluntarily are still staying there. But of course, the community who talks about bodily autonomy are the same ones who complain about bodily autonomy. And as I said, I knew you guys who are watching this video are up for a video where you're going to lose more brain cells, because I have not heard anything smart from these people. And once again, Abby's doing a phenomenal job in this interview because he's calling them out on their nonsense.
One way to get the microphone out of your face is?
You to remove it. Yeah.
Actually, you like 1, 2, 3. Out of my range.
Very smart.
God bless you, brother. Do you mind? We want to take a photo. Unless you want to take the photo, you're pretty good at doing it. This time, though, we'll give you consent to do it.
The fact that there is no set definition means people are allowed to be who they want to be. It does not affect you if I wake up tomorrow morning and say I want to identify as a man. Why does that affect you?
But what does it, I really am truly trying to understand, what does that mean? And what you're telling me is it means nothing. Then identifying as a tiger, or me identifying as 19. Or this guy, oh no, he's black, so this guy identifying like he's black. How is that any different than you making up a gender that you admit means nothing?
There are physical attributes of people that we have, and that does define us physically, but there is so much more to people. They're not just defined by who they are physically.
So we could say people, so let's put the pretend world aside for a second. Do you agree that there is only male and female?
In terms of sex?
In sex?
Yes.
And so can we go back to the days, like, do you think that, for example, women's spaces, women who want to feel like that they can have their own safe space for people of their sex, for example, going to the toilet, that they know that it's only a place for women by sex, not the pretend gender thing, whatever you're calling it?
You're digressing the point here.
No, I'm not. It is precisely the point, because you're trying to separate the two. but they're not separated because you don't actually believe they're separated. Because when it comes to women-only spaces, you want biological women to accept your gender pretend fantasy as real fact in that situation when it affects them, and it isn't real.
Well, first of all, we don't need to talk about bathrooms here. I've used unisex bathrooms. I feel comfortable in them. It's
Good for
fine.
you, but do you believe that? Do you understand that there are plenty of women around the world that don't feel safe sharing a room, sharing a bathroom with a biological, what did you call it, sex male?
The problem with these people is they don't care about the truth. They claim that they care about people's feelings, but they only care about the people's feelings who agree with the nonsense that they believe in. Once you veer out of the nonsense that they believe in, they say that you're bigoted, you're a misogynist, and you're racist, and so on and so forth. They only care about the people who agree with the nonsense and the programming that they agree with.
Biological, what did you call it, sex male.
If we're talking about bathrooms, then maybe there's some strict sort of rule there has to be there. But this isn't about bathrooms. This is about people.
This is really, no, that's really transphobic.
No, it's not. I'm trying.
Thank you.
If we're gonna,
That is, no, I can't believe you said that.
we're gonna talk about.
As a
people being
19-year-old male, I find it super transphobic that you're saying.
Legitimately, the trans community would say that that is extremely transphobic.
so funny.
Why is it funny?
Just because I'm like, why do you care that much? Just let people be people.
No, when you're talking about children cannot consent to puberty blockers, what's funny about that?
They can consent to people. Children aren't being given puberty blockers, and puberty blockers have no irreversible effects. So, like, what's the deal, yo?
Sorry, what did you say? They're not?
They don't have irreversible effects. It's so fine.
Do you agree with the sign?
Yes.
You agree?
Definitely, mate.
Why can't kids consent to, for example, going to a pub and having a drink? Why can't they drive cars? Why can't they do so many things that we only allow them in Australia at the age of 18 to begin? Why?
That's a totally different issue.
No, it isn't, but
driving a car, a child driving a car could end up killing someone else. A child drinking alcohol could fuck up their brain. But
what about puberty blockers? Do you agree with this? Do you agree with that statement?
No.
Why not?
Of course, the person with the rainbow colored hair and the person wearing a mask doesn't agree with the sign. I am totally not surprised that this person is indoctrinated and brainwashed like majority of the people who look like these people are. And once again, people will say, Yinka, why are you judging? Because I can. And the people who even say that I shouldn't judge are also judging me, which means you're also judgmental. But according to the woke standard, being judgmental is bad. Yes, they'll be the same people to judge you.
Why are you still wearing a mask? It's understandable. The delusional, the people that are still scared of COVID are also scared of basic biological facts. Science is not their strong point.
This was a great video by Avi. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This was my first time watching it, just like all the people who are watching this video. And as I said, all the people who are watching this video, go into the link in my description, click on his video and go and watch the full video on his channel as well. Subscribe to his channel as well and let him know that I sent you there. But anyway, that was another video. As I usually say, if you guys enjoyed the video, like the video as much as possible, comment down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on Instagram and X at YinkaThatGuy, and I am out.